Hi, and welcome to this Business Spotlight interview. I'm delighted today to be joined by Helen Parkinson from Organise ME. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Good to talk, and looking forward to hearing about your business.
Oh,
So, yeah. So if you can start, just give me a little bit more about what your business is and how long you've been going.
I own Organise ME. Official name is Organise ME Lancashire Limited, but it's a little bit of a mouthful, so we just leave that to company's house. Organise ME has been going for 4 years altogether, and I have been officially sort of own business owner for the last 3 years because I started it when I was employed. Around the kids and just seeing what would happen. I was quite lucky that I had that safe environment for a little bit. But yeah, business is going well, strong. Who would have thought that people don't want to do their own admin?
Indeed. Absolutely. So what is it about you enjoy? Obviously, you've got a great start. You're 4 years in. What is it about what you do that you really enjoy?
I think because of the work that I've always done, I've always landed in the sort of admin role. I've always landed in the PA role. And I think as much as I enjoy, I do enjoy the admin side. I enjoy the satisfaction of sort of getting something organised and sort of ticking it off the list. That's sort of the physical side that I enjoy of it. I do get quite a lot of like, my list is done today. And I think everyone can relate to that feeling where they're like, I've done everything that I needed to. But I feel for me with the business as well, and what I'm definitely trying to push a little bit more is that feeling that the others get from me, the feelings that my clients get, which is it's been done. I don't have to do that. It's already ticked off my list and it never went on my list in the first place. That's quite a nice feeling, and it sort of goes a little bit deeper than that as well. As why I also enjoy it is because of me taking things off people. What does that mean for them? A lot of my clients now are starting to do other things in the business because they've got time back and because they can. We all know that we can do these things, but we all run out of time eventually, and that's the reasons why we do and do not do things, because of time. So I think that's why I enjoy it the most, and I do like a pat on the back. I do like the praise of like, you've been able to let me do this. I'm like, brilliant. So yeah, I do enjoy that bit.
So where did the idea come from then? What kind of drove you to start up on your own and start your own business?
Well, being completely honest, I was part-time, so I just had my second child, Joseph, and it is true what they say about second children. He's just an absolute nightmare. I love him very dearly, but oh my days.
I think we can all kind of relate to that for sure.
Why is it so true though? Like 9 times out of 10, people will be like, my second child is wild as well. It just doesn't seem to wind down. There's no point of the day where it's like, oh, you're not tired again. It all started because I had my second child. I went back to work. I was very happy in the work that I was doing. I was an estate agent for 15 years before doing this, and then went into financial for a bit. But the money wasn't great because it is just admin. And the only way to make money out of sort of admin is like anything, you work for yourself. And if it's a good business, obviously the money should hopefully come. But I sat down in front of my boss one day and I said, I really need a pay rise. I need a pay rise. I'm only part-time, and at that time, as people will relate, your nursery fees are the fee, it's the wage that you get in. I was literally breaking even. And unfortunately, at that time that I was in, the company was shutting down who I was working for, and my boss actually gave me the idea. And the boss at that time, Victoria, was actually the godmother to this second child. So she'd been dealing. So she meant a lot to me, and we were really good friends as well. And she gave me this idea. She said, "Go and do what you do for me. You do a brilliant job for me. You really help people do this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started making an extra couple of hundred here and there, just extra takeaway, extra tea out. That's all I wanted it for, and then kind of turned into this really. So yeah, the idea actually came from someone who was looking out for me really, and the desire to do more. I always knew I could be more than just employed. I don't mean it that way, but you have that feeling sometimes of I know that I could be doing more with my life. This sort of fit in with that quite well.
Excellent. That's a great story. It's great someone could see that potential in you and kind of gave you that kick to, that little tap, as we say, tap on the shoulder kick to say, actually, you know what, you're really good at this. You should try and do it,
Yeah,
for yourself?
It could be a business though. I think that's the thing I didn't know, because when I started 4 years ago, virtual assistants, as far as I knew, there wasn't that many. And now, there's loads popping up just in Lancaster, and it's,
Yeah.
a trend. I think it's become a really good business that people can start from like quite quickly, because there's hardly any overheads. You just need a laptop really and the right insurance. But yeah, I've got the kick to go and do it, and thank God. So
Brilliant. So interesting. You say obviously competition. You're starting to see people come into the arena and the industry you're in. So what do you think differentiates yourself from the people, other people in the same environment, same business that you are in?
It's a really hard one, because I feel like I'm still trying to work that out, because more and more are coming to the scene, and I feel that being a virtual assistant and sort of being one of the ones that have been around for quite a while, I like to think as a virtual assistant, because you do see a lot of virtual assistants come in and go quite quickly, and I think I was quite lucky that I started when I did as well, which I think is why it took off quite well, because people were like, you'll do admin, that's brilliant, like there you go, and was quite happy to just give it away, which most people are. I do feel like the difference with me is I like to stay local. Ideally, I like to stay to my sort of LA area. I know that when people are giving me admin, especially emails, for example, there's so much in an email. It isn't just inquiries and invoices. You're having quite private conversations.
Yeah.
So I feel for me, what stands out is I want to stay local. I want to come and shake your hand. I want to come and have a coffee with you. I want you to know me, because we have to build that trust. And I feel that's not spoken about enough from a virtual assistant's point of view. It's because what's going on in your head, thinking, well, hang on a minute, she's going to see that I owe, I don't know, this. Sometimes red letters come in because it's life, it's business, cash is king and all of that. There is a lot of that going on, and I want to sort of stand out and say, I know that you're probably thinking, who the hell is this girl? I'm going to show you who I am, and hopefully you'll trust me, and you'll know why you trust me. So I feel like that's where I'm trying to niche. I hate that word niche, but niche into like the local sort of area.
Fair enough, so absolutely. And reputation in your environment is kind of everything, right? In terms of trust, you say yourself, trust is in any kind of business relationship. Trust is absolutely critical to making sure that relationship works long term. So we obviously talk about your growth has been great. What do you kind of mentioned already, but what do you attribute that growth to? What is it about you personally, or what you've done you think has grown your business so quickly?
Oh, that's a really good question, isn't it? Because it could be so many things that you don't even realize. You could say, well, I think it's because I'm going to say now, I think it's because of my, being constant and not consistent of, putting my posts out and going to networking. And I feel that because I've always been really organized, and because I've seen the previous company that I was in grow, I kind of knew a little bit, I was interested in it. And this particular company that I did work for went to like B&I and stuff, and it was like, oh, networking, what's that about? And you start branching out, you start asking these questions. So I was quite lucky to be in that environment already, where I could see the growth of a company and sort of realizing what she was doing behind the scenes, or what we were doing as a company. But I feel like it is that, it's standing up for who you are. It's constantly saying what you're about. It's getting your personality out there and hoping that you match with somebody well. Because I feel like in my company, once I match with somebody, they don't go away for a long time. Like, that's it. You're in the company. They trust you. Why would they go anywhere else unless they grow to a certain level that I just can't help them anymore, because I can't have full time for anybody. That's not the whole point of me. But yeah, I feel like just keeping going, which is so overrated to say, but just keep going. But I just kept pushing, and I kept showing my face and shouting about what I loved the most, and people are really happy to know me.
Yeah. So were there tough times when you first started? When you first started setting up, or did it kind of grow really quickly and you kind of got a really good head start on it?
I'll be really honest. I feel like the most toughest time I've had in business has been over the last 6 months. So over the last 4 years, the last 6 months for me have been really difficult. Only because, and this is something that maybe difficult was the wrong word. A few lessons to learn, I think, maybe happened quite quickly.
Right.
So for a client to sort of end the contract is really rare, because once you're sort of in and someone, it's like getting a cleaner, isn't it? Once you get a cleaner and you realise how clean your house can be all the time, you're like, you're not going anywhere, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to take back the cleaning. It's a little bit like that. So what happened recently is I had quite a few clients just come to the end of the contract with me. And that's never happened in such a short amount of time. So for me, that was quite difficult, because I felt the pressure of trying to replace it. And it's that mindset that was my most challenging time, I would say. It wasn't losing the clients, the wrong word. They graduated organisation school. They finished what they needed to, because sometimes it's a one-off job or sometimes it's recurring. And some people do go and get that full-time admin because they need to, and I can't do that. I mean, some people go and get it and realise they don't need full-time, but that's an advert. So yeah, I feel like for me, it's the mindset that's quite challenging. Like, you're always going to have a fear of, oh my God, what if my company just doesn't exist in the next day? And I had to change my mindset to think, why would that happen? Not everyone's going to email at the same time and say, we're done now, here's your month's notice or whatever. So mindset definitely was and is one of my biggest challenges, to think.
And what are you doing to change that? Change your mindset. You're doing some personal stuff there in terms of your own development.
I'm always doing personal stuff. I really enjoy that side anyway. I really enjoy sort of self-help. I actually started working with Helen Parkinson, the sales lady. She's a coach, obviously, like yourself, and that's why we've met, because you know, you've got to carry on that. You've got to carry on the relationships with people that help you the most. And sometimes you can have the same people doing the same thing, but you get a different vibe of people. So it's interesting to reach out, isn't it? And to be like, oh, what can you help me with? Because mindset's massive. So Helen was more sales, for example. But yeah, things like that. I'm always looking for the next sort of person to be like, well, what could you help me with? You know, because that box ticks, but there's so many other boxes in the mindset field. So I did reach out for coaching a few months ago, and obviously before I met you, Rob, just going to say that. But yeah, I reached out to Helen. I've known her for many years. We've sort of crossed bridges over like 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm always trying to improve it, but be comfortable in myself, because people can tell you to do certain things, but if it doesn't align with you, it comes off fake. So that's, again, another sort of mindset challenge, isn't it? To be like, with this.
No, interesting. Yeah, no, definitely. No, very interesting. Yeah, no, I think, you know, Helen's obviously well known in the area for what she does on the sales side of things. So, you know, coaching, you know, like you say, can cover so many different areas of business, and you know, it's always great to keep an open mind and look for different alternatives, for sure. So looking to the future, what does the future look like for you? You know, and what do you see as your main challenges moving forward?
You know what, I've always really struggled with this question, and I still struggle with it today, because people will say, what are your goals? And I don't know why. And I remember Helen asking me this question when I first started with her like a year ago. And you know, as you do, you'll probably do something similar, where you're like, what are we doing? Where are we going? You know, what are we planning for? And I just burst into tears. I don't know why. You're probably thinking, oh God, I will ask you that question then. But she just said, you know, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And I was like, I don't know. I think the business is, you know, so blessed to say it's done so well, and it's, you know, it's not only replaced my part-time role, but it's given us a lifestyle that we never thought that we could have. And you know, my boys are getting spoiled like mad, which is probably why my second child's a nightmare. But you know, it's time to really sit down and think, okay, this isn't going anywhere. This is an actual business now. And I think I've been kidding myself for a while that, oh, it's just a side hustle, because admitting that it could be something is actually quite scary. And sometimes I think you can be like, oh, if I say it out loud, it's going to go away. And that's another challenge, isn't it? That's where the mindset is for me, of like, oh, it's too much true, and imposter syndrome and all that loveliness that we deal with. But yeah, that's actually something that I'm trying to really sit down and push myself to do. I'm trying to do the vision boards, and I'm really trying to be like, what am I wanting? Where do I want to go? And yeah, the challenges ahead is me working out where I want to go. I think right now that's my first challenge. I don't know. I don't know. Do I dare to say it out loud? Do I say it out loud and it'll
If
go away?
well, the next stage is to write it down. That's the next stage, isn't it?
I don't
That's
think
the one.
but I
The
don't
great yeah, I'm sure you've heard it before, but I do enjoy the if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist.
Well, apparently so, which is why I'm coming to the seminar next week, isn't it? So
There we
I'm
go.
pushing, that's my
Indeed. And
point.
if you don't share it, it won't persist. There you go. I really like that little into it as well. So it's one of our, without, you're right. It's goal setting, personal challenges. It's that being, I think you having the confidence in your own ability to say, I can achieve what I want to achieve, and I think you've demonstrated in the 4 years so far what you can achieve. And, if you put your mind to it, there are no boundaries, are there? Do you know what I mean? It's a
scary thing though, isn't it? And I think you get lost in the world of, like, you start writing down what everyone else writes down, which is, oh, I want to travel and I want this. It's like, I don't know if I want that actually. Like, I love being at home, unfortunately for my husband, he's like, we're going away again. I'm like, no, I want to just stay at home. And it's like, is that my goal then? Is my goal to create a 3-day week? I don't know. So yeah, I really need.
What's wrong with that? What is it? Is your goal to set, to build set up generational wealth for your family? There's so many things that it doesn't have to be, like you say, people kind of tend to think about travel and things, but people, I think you're finding, if you look at the guys that generate huge wealth, they think that big, it's not done by accident. That's what they put their mind to, so I think it's a really interesting kind of topic, and it's something that clearly we love to get involved with people, because ultimately, with business, it's the personal goals. You set the personal goals, and then you build the business goals to hit the personal goals, and that's where you get real alignment and really, really achieve what you want to achieve. So yeah, some interesting thoughts on that. Great. I love your candid and honesty. It's fantastic. So just going back to when you started, been in 4 years now, what would you do maybe again differently? What have you learned in those 4 years?
Oh, blimey,
that's start again.
Questions out there. What would I do differently? Do you know what? I feel like what I probably would have done differently is, what happened is, when I had the business starting and running, when I was at my current job at the estate agents, I think I wish I had maybe the courage to have seen what would have happened if I didn't stay employed for longer. However, in the same breath of that, because I ended up getting my mortgage advisory qualifications because I did stay in employment for longer. So there's always that. I mean, I don't really believe in shoulda, woulda, couldas and all of that, because I was really happy with the way I did it. But I feel that maybe having more confidence and seeing where it would have gone sooner, because I was literally the only virtual assistant in Lancaster that I knew of. So could it have gone quicker if I put more into it? I don't know. So no, I don't think I would have done anything differently, to be honest. No, I was really happy with the way it went, and there was no challenges really along the way. It was coming quite naturally. The things that I was doing was working. So there was no, oh, I should have done that differently, because it worked.
Okay.
Yeah, no regrets.
Great. That's a great way to, absolutely fantastic. And then just thinking about, if you do grow, obviously you've brought someone else into your team recently.
Yeah.
And if you are looking to grow, obviously potentially more team, more recruitment. What is it? What qualities would you look for in an employee, or when you bring someone in, what is it that's important to you?
Well, I was really lucky with Emma as well. So Emma was actually my lovely Emma. She's Irish, so every time she voice notes, it's like amazing. Could just listen to her all day. So Emma was actually my virtual assistant for, I think, 2 years, and then her circumstances changed, and she wanted a little bit more. What's the word? A little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not stability. Is it stability? I think that's the word I'm looking for, isn't it? She wanted a bit more of that, and she did sort of go off, and she was looking for, the employment route, which I'm sure she won't mind me saying. And I said, well, hang on a minute, we need to have I don't want to lose you, because she just understood my tone of voice. She understood what Organise ME was about. She understood that it was just more than admin. And that's sort of the qualities that I'm after people. It's like, do you know why we take admin off people? Yes, okay. It's because they get more time back. The foundations is more time back. You get time to grow. But actually, what happens is the more time you get back, the less arguments you're having with your partner when they're saying, why are you working again? I have to take the kids here again because you're working. And I've been there. You know, I think going back to, was there any regrets or challenges? I actually changed my answer because I remember one evening when I was crying my eyes out, I'd taken on too many clients, I was trying to do too much. So actually, I would have outsourced sooner because I understood the feeling of overwhelm and possibly on burnout a little bit. So I think actually I changed my answer. I would have outsourced sooner, and that isn't just an advert for outsourcing. It's the truth, because this is what happens.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's awful. We've all had overwhelmed feeling. Maybe not just from business. We've had overwhelmed feeling from just being parents and life and everything else. Like, God, going to Aldi on a Friday night is bloody overwhelming. You know, like trying to get all your shopping in and everyone's there.
Yeah.
It's that feeling that I can take away from somebody, and if it means that they can have a weekend in the lakes with the kids, with the dog, having a walk because they know that their emails are done, that's amazing. So looking for what, you know, my next team member, they have to understand that it's more than an email.
No, so I mean, values, you know, you talk about Organise ME having the value of instinct, you know, which is fantastic because absolutely, if they understand why you're doing it, it's the why, isn't it, right? Why are you doing it? Not just the what. The why is absolutely vital. So brilliant. No, thanks for that. So finally, just you know, you've obviously given us a flavour of what you do, but if people are interested in finding out more, what's the best way to, you know, find out about Organise ME, you know, online, etc.?
Oh, I'm everywhere. That's the problem. I'm just people just can't escape me. I'm everywhere. I feel like the best platform for me at the moment, obviously, other than email and website and normal things, LinkedIn. If you're wanting to find out a little bit more to get that sort of flavour of what we can do and what we can help, really starting to concentrate on the LinkedIn. So there's loads of videos on there. There's all, you know, we do post about how we've helped people more than what we can help with, because I find that that's how people could know if we can help. Like, this person was in this situation. You can relate to a situation more than I have emails. Everyone's got emails. And LinkedIn's the best place to go. I'm always on there. So, yes.
Okay. And have you got a website address?
I do, but I'm updating it. So
okay.
nobody look there. I look like years younger on the picture.
LinkedIn to start with. Okay. I know you post a lot on LinkedIn. Obviously, you post a really engaging, really great creativity and content. So we'll definitely get a flavour of what you do by finding you on LinkedIn and connecting. So great. So thanks very much. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you and to get to learn a lot more about you and your business. And obviously, I wish you well for the future.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.